beaters, Gina here from orchidandopal.com. I'm here today with my third peyote stitch ring tutorial. This is even count, so if you've never done it before, feel free to check out my previous tutorials or just follow along with this one. It's pretty easy, so if you follow along in this tutorial today, then you'll know how to do even count peyote. So you've seen me maybe wear this ring a few times on my videos. I've gotten a lot of interest in it, and I did promise you guys that I would be doing more of these peyote stitch ring tutorials. So I thought this would be a good one to do today. I have sketched out the design on this special peyote stitch graph paper. You can print that out at home. It's from the Fire Mountain Gems website. I just did a Google search on it, but I'll try to leave the link for you down below if you wanted to sketch out your own ring patterns. Some people have expressed that they really like to follow along on my videos as I'm making them, that it's easier for you to make your rings that way than by just simply following a pattern. So by all means, if it's helpful for you, I hope you follow along. Otherwise, definitely feel free to just pause the video and you're welcome to follow along with the pattern I've sketched out here for you. You'll see that I have 4 different colors of 11-0 Delica beads, and those are those more cylindrical beads. They're a little different than regular rounded seed beads. These are the Miyuki brand, and I also have a beading needle with about 4 to 5 feet of 6-pound Fireline. That's my beading thread of choice, but you're welcome to use whatever beading thread that you're comfortable with. I will leave a link to the Fireline below in case you're interested in checking out where you can purchase that. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to be starting with this gold bead all the way down at the bottom left, and as the little arrow shows, that's the pattern we're going to be stringing on our needle to get started. So we're working from bottom to top on this design, and then we're going to swing our needle back down and go back and forth to complete this ring pattern. As I'm doing this tutorial, I'm going to refer to this gold as the edge color, I'm going to refer to this cream as the background color, the green as the leaf color, and the purple as the petal color. So let's go ahead and string on 2 of our edge color. Then we want to string on 1 of our leaf color, 1 background color, 3 petal colors, and 1 more edge color. So you should have a pattern that looks something like this on your needle. It'll just be slightly different depending on the colors you're using. So go ahead and string this down. You want to leave about a 6 to 8 inch tail so that you'll be able to weave that back in when you're done creating the length of your ring. And your needle's right here. You're going to string on another one of your edge colors, and you're going to go straight down through that first petal color that you get to. Alright, so you should have something like this after you've strung on your extra edge color and gone down that first petal bead. What you can see is that this has formed a little bit of a T shape here where you have 2 on the top and your needle has come down through this bead right here. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be popping in a bead and going through every other bead down this row. It definitely gets easier as you go with peyote stitch, and it will take a few times of you probably trying this process and getting started with it till you get the hang of it, so don't feel bad if you have to start over a couple times. That's totally normal. So, as our pattern suggests, we're going to be adding in another one of our edge color, which I've decided to use as the center color of the little flowers. So coming out of that first purple bead, I'm going to be skipping over the next petal color and going through the third one there. And that's going to put that gold bead right in place next to this purple bead. So you can see it popped it right in. That's going to be the center of my flower. Now we're coming out of this bottom petal bead here. We're next to this cream or the background color. And then according to our pattern, I need to add a green or a leaf color next to that and then go down through the leaf bead on the first row. Okay, so you should have something like this. And I just want to mention too, I should have said something earlier, but I don't use stop beads when I do these. I just don't find them necessary. I just kind of hold the beads in place, and then after you get the first couple rows done, everything is a lot easier, won't be moving around on you. If you feel more comfortable adding a stop bead so that these beads aren't slipping down, then definitely feel free to do that. Do whatever works for you. So the next bead we want to add is one of our edge beads, so let's go ahead and do that. We're coming out of this leaf color here. We're going to pop in another edge color next to this gold one, and then finally go down through our very last bead that was on that first row. Alright, so the first 2 rows of your ring should look something like this. Now we're ready to go back up in this direction, so we're just going to continue to follow our pattern. First one we need to add now is one of our gold edge beads. So we're going to go up through the one that was sticking out. And that's what you're going to do from here on out, is you're going to be popping in a bead in between each of these beads that are sticking out, and that's going to be the process from here on out. So following our pattern, we need to stick a bead right next to this lonely leaf bead, and that is going to be one of our background colors. So pick one of those up and then go through the leaf bead that is sticking up that you get to next. Then we need to add on another petal color, so add that on and then go up through the edge bead that you get to, which is the center of your flower. Then add on another petal color, and then go up through the top bead there, the edge bead that's sticking out. So that's your third row. Continuing on, pick up an edge bead and go back down through the bead that's sticking out. That's the petal bead. Then add on one of your background colors and then go through this next one that's sticking out. Then an edge bead. And go through the bottom bead that's sticking out. Then we need to add another petal bead and go through the petal bead that's sticking out. There we go, that's one little flower completed. Then we need to pick up a background color and go through the next bead that's sticking out. And then we need to pick up a edge color and go through the final bead that's sticking out at the bottom. This is what you should have so far, so let's continue on again, picking up an edge bead and going back up in the other direction. We're going to go up the bead that's sticking out. Looking at our pattern, we need now another petal bead because we're going to start the flower that's on the bottom. So pick one of those up and then go through the background color that's sticking out. Then we need a leaf color to put right next to this petal. So we pick one of those up and then go through the petal color that's sticking out. And then we're going to grab an edge color and pop that right into place below the last bead that we get to. So now that we've done several rows together, it is the exact same process to complete this ring, and what we're going to be doing is just creating one strip that we're going to be joining together. So the size of your strip depends on the finger that you're trying to fit, so definitely just keep checking as you make your strip longer to see if it wraps around and is going to be the correct length for you. The only thing that's a little bit different about this ring than the other two that I've done before is that with this pattern, depending on the length that you want to make it, the ends might not join up equally. In other words, you may end it in the middle of one flower, and when you join them together, the pattern may not flow like this one is, meaning that you might have a seam, which is totally fine. You can always wear it with the seam on the inside of your finger so that nobody sees it if you are worried about that, or you can just make it so that the flowers do join up, and instead of it being a thumb ring, you may make it smaller and fit on your pinky or something like that. So you'll just have to play around with the sizing and see what works for you. For this one, I didn't want a seam, so that's why I made it a little bit bigger, and it fit my thumb very well. So just something to keep in mind. Now that you have a few rows underway, I'm going to do some more with you, but I'm going to put it to some music since it won't be necessary for me to continue talking. So feel free to skip ahead to the end of the video where we join the ring together, or if you don't feel that you need any further instruction on this, just know that I really appreciate you watching and I hope your ring turned out great. For the rest of us, let's continue on and finish up our ring. Alright everyone, so I've completed the length that I'm happy with for my ring, and what you want is you want to have mismatched sides on either side. What I mean is, you see how on this side there are beads bumping out starting from this bottom one here, and on this side it's indented at the bottom. That way when you put your ring together, they're going to join up and then zip together properly. So that's what you want to have, and like I said, if you had to end it in the middle of one of your flowers or something like that and you have a seam, don't worry about it. Just wear your seam on the inside of your finger. I did go ahead and complete it so that the look would be cohesive all the way around, and I'll just see what finger it fits on best for me personally. I made it a little bit smaller than the thumb ring, so we'll see how that goes. My thread is coming out of this bead right here, and we're basically just going to bind the two ends together. So join your two ends with your finger, and then if you're coming out of this one like I am, I'm going to go down through the top bead on the other side, and then also through, kind of diagonally, that bead that's sticking out in the next row. And then I'm going to pull that, and it's starting to bind them together. So I'm coming out of this bead right here. I'm going to go through my little petal bead and then through the leaf bead on the other side and stitch those together. Okay, so I'm coming out of that leaf bead. Now I'm going to go through this background bead that's on the next level down, and then through this petal bead right here. And pull those together. And coming out of there, I want to go back over to this side, and I'm going to join this edge bead and then go over diagonally to the next edge bead on the other side and pull. So now we kind of have this little section left, and I'm coming out of this one right here, and I'm just going to go down through the edge bead right next to it to bind those up, and I'm going to go down one more as well, like that. So our ring is put together really nicely. You can't see a seam on this one or anything. You can't see where it starts and ends, but right now we just need to finish up our ring by knotting off our thread carefully. So the way we're going to do that is I'm coming out of this gold bead right here. I'm just going to follow my beads or the thread path and just kind of go diagonally until I get to this edge. So it doesn't matter what direction you go in, you can go in different directions. Just kind of work your needle through the beads carefully. And by the way, you want to be careful. Don't be too forceful with the beads because they are glass. They can break. Doesn't usually happen, but it has happened to me. And I know I'm not the only one, so definitely don't get to this point and then break a bead. That would be so sad. So, alright, you want to make a little half hitch knot on that end like I did. Now we're going to go back in the other direction. We're just going to do this until we've made about 3 half hitch knots to secure this end of our thread. I went under the thread bridge on that end to make a little loop, and now I'm just going through the loop. Okay, and now I'm going in the other direction. Okay, so this is a point where we're going to be making our third knot. So I'm just going under the thread bridge once again, making a little loop and then going through the loop. And we don't want to end right here. You don't want to cut your thread right there because you're going to see that knot a little bit more easily if you do that. Just go back down in the other direction about halfway through your ring. Just about to, like, say right here, and then carefully snip off your thread at that point, and that just hides your thread and your knot just a little bit better. So I'm going to do the same thing with my tail thread, putting a needle on my tail thread and then weaving it back and forth to make 3 half hitch knots, alternating sides of the ring, and then ending my thread kind of in the middle and snipping it off, and then we'll try it on and meet back. Alright everybody, so here is my finished ring. I think it came out super cute. I'm really excited about it. Fits really nice. These are so comfortable to wear, it's actually kind of surprising. I'm sure you guys came up with some absolutely beautiful color combinations. If you'd like to, feel free to email me any pictures of the jewelry you've made, and I'd be happy to post them on my Facebook page if you'd like me to. It's always fun to share those and see what you guys have come up with. Like I said, I know a lot of you will probably be able to do this just based on following the peyote stitch written or drawn out pattern, but some people have expressed that they really like the video version. So I hope this helps you guys. Definitely let me know down below if you enjoyed this ring tutorial, if you'd like to see more of them, because I did plan on doing about one of these per month this year, but I want to make sure that there is enough interest. I'm also going to try to post the pattern to my blog or my website if you're interested in checking it out there. If I do that, I will leave the link in the information section down below. I always try to include a lot of helpful information down there, product links, materials lists, ways to get in touch with me, those sort of things. So once again, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Welcome to all of my new subscribers. I'm so glad to have all of you here. Please join me again soon for more tutorials, more subscription unboxings, and much more beading fun on my channel. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day, and as always, say it with me, happy beading. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to give it a big thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my latest videos. Check out the information section under the video for links to my social media handles and other helpful info, and feel free to check out my shop at orchidandopal.com. Thanks for watching!